Hi, everybody. Again, happy Saturday. Thank you for choosing to start your Saturday with us at Finessed Media. If it's your first time with us, we have amazing weekly events based on the music industry, and we have music industry professionals giving their insights. And this week is no different. So, as some of you may or may not know, it is Disability Pride Month. And we wanted to honor that and bring in some amazing, talented disabled folks. And I'm super, super excited to have this event because I'm also a disabled woman. So this is really, really special to me to have people in my community come on and talk about their talents and, be inclusive. So today we have MoneySign Hines joining us, rapper from New York, New York. We have Jason Barnes, who is an amazing drummer. And then we have Miss Jacqui from London, who is an amazing poet, singer, songwriter. So yeah, we're gonna ask you guys a couple of questions, go into our Q&A, and then we have the wonderful listening session, which is like my favorite uh, part of the events. And that'll be hosted by our lovely KitKat Fisher. So now that I've introduced everyone, if one of the panelists want to kind of like talk about what they do, introduce yourselves, how you got started. Any volunteers to go first? If not, I'll just call on one of you lovely panelists.
I don't have no problem. So
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. How you doing?
Good, good. Um, Fun fact about Money Sign Hines, we used to go to middle school together, so I haven't seen you in so long. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. So if you could tell us how you started, a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself to everyone here.
So I go by Money. I'm from the Bronx, New York. Pretty much Bronx, New York is so it was bound to happen that everybody pretty lives in the Bronx is gonna try to rap at some point. So kind of at an early age, me and my friends like fun messing around with it. It was kind of like off and on each and every other year. But until I got to college and I got around like-minded people and friends that was more serious about it, is when I really decided to lock in and choose that as something I wanted to use to express myself. Um, that's when I first performed, and I actually performed a song that was pretty much about my life and my story, my journey with cerebral palsy. So, everything kind of came full circle in regards to me actually as which a lot of us had.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Money Sign Hines. Miss Jacqui, do you want to go next?
Yeah. I guess I knew that I wanted to be an artist when I used to record the radio onto cassette tapes. I'm showing my age real bad. Yeah, I used to record your own playlist, and then when the DJ would talk, you like pause it and you make your friends mixtapes. And I was always like, yeah, like music is like what I want to do. And I just thought, oh, I'm gonna do tech stuff and like be a sound engineer. And I did that for years. Because I never saw artists that looked like me, so I never knew it was possible. So that always was like, oh, okay, I want to do this thing, let me do it. So yeah, it started off me just recording music from cassette tapes, and then I did shows when I was a kid, and everyone's like, yeah, you're good. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm all right, but I've never seen someone who looks at me do what I want to do. And then I just practiced, built up my craft, did shows after shows. Grew up in gospel, in my house we play gospel and country. That's wow. What I grew up on. So storytelling and things like that were always really important to me. So I just put that in my work, and I was like, this is what I want to do, and I'm gonna run with it. So yeah.
Awesome. Do you ever sing any country music?
Oh, Miss Dolly Parton, Jolene. You feel her pain in that song, like, Jolene, really, you did her dirty?
Right.
Like, yeah, like my mom loves Dolly Parton, so all of her songs I could probably, I'm not gonna sing it, but I could.
That's awesome. Yeah, Dolly is a legend. I love her so much. Jason, how are
What's up,
you?
guys? Good. How about you guys?
Good.
So yeah, I guess how I knew I wanted to be an artist. I was always into music from a young age, and around the time I was like 12, my father was kind of back in my life full time. And he was a famous musician in Australia. He played guitar for a few different bands out there, and so I grew up kind of watching him play guitar, and it was really interesting to me. And so I think I picked up the guitar first, and wasn't really that good with it. I think I had a little bit of ADD, and I quickly found out that playing drums was probably gonna be my passion. I mean, I grew up like always like beating on the dinner table and things like that. And so, yeah, one year my parents bought me a drum kit for Christmas when I was like 14 or 15, and I picked it up pretty quickly. Within like the first like day or two, I was like kind of playing some grooves, and at that moment, I kind of knew like, you know, this is really fun. This is definitely my passion, and I from then on I kind of grew up in different genres of music. I ended up playing bass for a few bands, guitar and some. And then when my accident happened when I was 22, I got electrocuted at work, and it resulted in the amputation of my right hand. And I was playing in a band at that point in time. And I guess the only thing that mattered to me as far as like rehabilitation went was getting the band back together and getting back on the drum kit and playing. And so that's kind of where my life journey as far as being a disabled musician started. And yeah, it led me down all these crazy paths, developing prototype prosthetics and eventually learning how to produce and things like that. So yeah, music's pretty much been my passion since I was 14 or so, and I've just kind of stuck with it since, in one way or another.
Wow, it's amazing. Thank you for sharing your story. Again, like why we decided to host this event, because I think it's so important. We think it's so important to highlight disabled artists and musicians, and like talk about our unique stories, and it's important for us to have representation too. So we're not included in a lot of spaces, and I think this will benefit everyone here, knowing how to interact with the disabled people and disabled artists, and how we have something to say. And music is also our creative outlet. So thank you guys again for being here. So my next question, how does your disability impact the way that you operate or work in the music industry? Whoever wants to chime in first.
So with me, so after my accident, I kind of focused on developing my own drumming prosthetic, and it led to these pretty highly advanced prototype prosthetics specifically for drumming. And so it kind of became part of, I guess, my act, for lack of a better word. People who didn't know me were coining me as like the cyborg drummer and things like that. So it kind of just became part of my niche. And so, yeah, as far as being in the industry and performance goes, I utilize as much of my prosthetics as I possibly can. So people do see, obviously, that I am otherly abled or challenged, you know, and but while also trying to, you know, put on a great show. So it's kind of, the prosthetic has kind of become a part of me since then. But ultimately, I wouldn't call myself a disabled musician. I'm a musician at heart, musician first. And then, you know, I like to think of it as, again, otherly abled or differently abled, because, you know, I think most of the time disability is usually a mindset for the most part. So, you know, when there's a will, there's a way. So
Definitely. Thank you. Miss Jacqui?
Yeah, I think it's different. It's hard. It's all of these wild and wacky things. I think for me personally, what happens is people see my wheelchair first. And there's like this weird statistic that like 83% of people are like awkward around disabled people. So I either make you more awkward to shake you out of that, or I kind of like warm you into it. And I think in the music industry, first thing people see, and that's just based off of bias, is that, oh, she has a wheelchair. And then their brain goes, she's all right at what she does. Like, go ahead, do you? But I think it's difficult because that's a bias that I can't change. The same way I can't change the color of my skin, the same way I can't change the way that my hair grows upwards and legitimately upwards. Yeah. It's something that is a part of me. And I think because I've had my disability since birth, like it's progressive, but I've had it since birth. So I don't know any different. So I know that I'm going to walk in rooms and people are going to be awkward. I know that I'm going to do a show and people are going to be surprised, like, wow, I didn't expect that. So I think for me in the music industry, it's about it not seeming so different. Like, I'm an artist first, just like Jason said, I'm an artist first and everything else second. So that just pushes me along to, I like making people awkward. It's fun. Try it.
Yeah. Thank you. MoneySign Hines?
I pretty much say like the same for me, because regardless of what kind of setting the music, people are going to see my limp first, or, my hand being tightened first. So already they don't know what to expect until you actually say something and, interact with the crowd. So then, once the words start going or the song starts playing, people's like, oh snap, he's really saying something, or he's actually passionate about his art. So again, I had my disability since birth as well. So it's not something that we focus on because we're used to living with it. Like the only way we pay attention to it, I pay attention to it, is if I look in the mirror when I'm walking past. So it's like I don't really think about what others have to say. I'm also lock in and focus on what I have to do, message I have to spread, and bring all types of inspiration and motivate everybody else. First, as a story, so I'm just my part in what I feel my purpose, or turn purpose. And just regardless of who good or bad or color of skin, people are gonna look at you one way or another. Anyway.
Right.
But that's that you just do what you do inside of your own skin, and however people take that.
Oh, Danzel, I think we lost you a little bit.
You lost me?
Yeah, it was like cutting in and out, at least for me. I don't know if for anyone else. So if you have like a slightly better spot or something, because it kind of goes in and out. But yes, thank you for sharing. And like, I agree with what you guys are saying. I think like people sometimes like they don't know how to react, or they don't know what to expect. And I think that's the kind of the unique thing about being a disabled person. Like kind of like, oh, people have these biases, but we can always kind of like prove them wrong or show them like, hey, this is just a part of me. It isn't just me, my entire identity. So that brings me on to my next question. How are you able to use music as your creative outlet? What would you like for people to get from your music? Miss Jacqui?
Yeah, I think it as a creative outlet. So like I'm a poet as well. So that's just, I've always written, and I thought poetry was for like old white men in turtlenecks, in basements that click. Like that's what I thought poetry was. But then I met an amazing poet called Cat Francois, and the way she just spun what poetry was to me, and I was like, she's a Black woman that was saying everything with her whole chest, and like she was unapologetic, and she went on to mentor me and was like, yeah, do your thing and say what you got to say. I think when it comes to my music and my poetry, I think the main thing is that we're all human. Like, we all feel the same feelings. We all get frustrated. We all want to start a fight when somebody talks to us recklessly. We all like feel sad. We all feel happy. We all feel beautiful. We all feel sexy. All of that. Like everyone feels that. And I think for me, my music is about that humanity, like in any way, shape or form, and challenging that, because I'm a baddie too. Like, what does that mean? And if that's how I feel today, that's how I feel today. And if tomorrow I want to cuss you out because you talked at the side of your neck, I'm going to do that too. And I feel like people shouldn't expect my music to be one way or the other just because of my disability. I'm going to create the work that I want to create. You're either going to like it or you're not. And that's fine. So yeah, for me, it's about the humanity in the work and like us finding our common grounds and how we can connect to each other.
Yeah, definitely. Jason?
What's the entirety of the question again?
How do you use music as your creative outlet? What would you like people to get from your music?
So yeah, I use music. I'm also a producer as well, so I produce all types of different genres of music for myself and other people. But I use it as an outlet in general. I mean, whenever I'm kind of stressed out in life or like dealing with stuff, I find it easy versus, using drugs or something that's not efficient at doing the job. I find it very kind of calming and relaxing for me to be able to just open up Ableton, my production program I use, and just start producing something and kind of get lost in it in this kind of like deep kind of flow mindset to where you're just kind of blocking out all the outside interactions or outside problems you have or your ego and all that thing. So it's ultimately it's kind of an outlet for me in general, and then creative outlet as well. And then as far as what I want people to get from it, I mean, so one of the projects I have right now is called Cybernetics. It's kind of just inspired by AI. And the music is mainly instrumental for the most part, which I love instrumental music because it kind of it's like reading a book. It kind of lets you use your imagination for yourself on like where this journey is taking you, where the track is taking you. And so that's kind of like my goal with that, is just to kind of take people on this journey, kind of all over the place, some happy, some sad, some epic, you name it. So ultimately, it's just to take someone on a journey and an experience, and what that may be for that certain individual is up to them or to be determined. So
yeah, thank you. Danzel?
Yeah, so in junior high school, actually, I pretty much had wrote a story on something that happened in my life. Even though it wasn't at that point, that encouraged me later on to like pretty much put everything I've been through into it, and that inspires people, like whether disabled, to look at things that the way I put together words and motivate them in any form or fashion to get them to do something or feel like they're fulfilling their purpose. That's pretty much how I use it as an outlet. And what I want people to get from it is to, always motivate it, never give up with, and just pretty much it's very common to, sit down and kind of jot together, reflect. For me to be able to put that in a song or multiple songs and then performing in front of people, because like I said earlier, everybody has a story, everybody dealt with pain, trauma, everybody's had to overcome obstacles. It's just very different because we're human, came up different process. So me to get my message out and encourage others to create on a daily basis is amazing.
Yeah, definitely. And I have to say, I love your album, Danzel. It's wonderful. I love the story you tell, talking about having cerebral palsy and kind of like your struggles with it, and like how you talk about like you wouldn't have it any other way because it's like made you the person you are and the artist that you are today. So I had to let you know that I totally love your work, and I love everyone's work here. Like we are fans of our panelists when we have events. Like we love you guys, so thank you for agreeing to come here because you guys are like amazing. Miss Jacqui, incredible. I believe I've seen you in our events in the past. I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure, as like an audience member. correct me if I'm wrong. And Jason, yeah, I was checking out your work. I love it so much. So again, thank you so much for being here today. So I also wanted to ask, do you ever like incorporate your disability as part of your brand as an artist? Like, for example, Lil Nas X now is using like his sexuality as, you know, to be out and loud and proud and kind of like be in people's faces, especially, you know, being a rapper and the it, you know, the rap community dealing with a lot of like homophobia and stuff, and he's very unapologetic about it. So do you guys feel like with your music you're kind of doing the same thing, or how do you feel about that? How do you incorporate your disability as part of your brand?
That's
Oh,
that's
I'm sorry, I can hear you, Denzel.
no. I was just saying I'll let somebody else go first, and then I'll answer
Yeah, sure. Miss Jacqui?
Yeah, sure. I guess it's one of those questions. It's something I can't change, isn't it? So it's inherently a part of my brand. Like, I think I don't necessarily push it, but it might just be there subconsciously because that's my lived experience. I think especially when I create work, I'm talking about things that matter to me, like that are important to me, that really challenge me. So I guess in that way, it just comes along with it. Because I talk about like being free, I talk about body positivity, I talk about all kinds of things, and that's just because my disability is part of my identity. So inherently, it will just come through in my music. But I don't think I go out going, the next song I have to create has to be, you know, this, and the third. I'm just like, I get a vibe, have an idea, write about it. First draft is normally trash, then come back, do it again. So I think inherently it's just a part of who I am. So it's a part of my brand, whether I like it or not. But you have to spin what you have. You play the cards that you're dealt, like, and you keep it pushing.
Yeah, definitely. Jason?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything she said. It's, you know, unintentional, obviously. It's just something that's a part of us now. But with me, I tried to, again, like once I lost my hand, I was more interested in trying to use prosthetics and technology and things like that, and utilize those for my performances. And so, and then it just kind of, you know, one thing led to another, and then people started coining me, you know, cyborg drummer, things like that. And so it's just there. It's not really something that I intentionally put out as like, hey, I'm a disabled musician. Because again, like I said, I like to think of most disabled people as, you know, challenged or otherly abled.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not intentional. It's just kind of there. But I figured if it's there, why not try and make this kind of like cool aspect about it? Like, oh, like, you know, he has this robotic drumming prosthetic, or he has like a bionic hand, or some weird, just odd device that I'm trying to utilize, you know,
Yeah.
that is showcasing that, but utilizing technology and things as well. So yeah, pretty much.
Oh, super cool. So what are some, oh, Denzel, I'm sorry. You can definitely answer the question.
So recently, I did like incorporate my disability in my album title and a lot of the theme of it because, for example, this month is Disability Pride Month, and you know, I feel like people with certain disabilities or you know, different, they have that. Like for example, like cancer is something that we see a lot of commercials based on and things of that nature. But you know, there's nothing for cerebral palsy, and there's various other disabilities that are not mentioned in that same light. So I kind of wanted to do that for myself and just get people that I know around me more familiar with, just because I feel like serving my purpose if I you know, spread awareness about it. And also the album merch, post a story on it, which is something I kind of go by now. And it's kind of like, if you purchase the hoodie or whatever the case may be, you accept somebody with that disability, you know somebody with that disability, you understand that person as opposed to, you know, the negativity that comes with a disability, things of that nature. And, you know, just that dialogue that you could have with having the hoodie, like it happened to me at work. I was wearing the hoodie and my hoodie, and it was like, what does that say on your? I told them, and it was like, for real? And I was like, yeah, she said her sister-in-law or somebody had cerebral palsy, and she would never think I had it because, you know, this very form. So
Right.
it's like, you know, that connection and that dialogue is just eye-opening, and it could lead to other people talking about it and just more communication based on humanity.
Yeah, definitely. Like using it to have those dialogues and that conversation so that when people meet, you know, people like us, they're not as awkward or they don't know maybe what to say. And like, they're just more, exposure is always great to kind of like incorporate all of us and normalize it, because disabled people are the largest minority in the world. So yeah, it is super important. Also, Denzel, I think so that we can hear you better, maybe turning off the camera, because sometimes when Wi-Fi is a little wacky, turning off the camera works. So hopefully that'll work. But we were able to hear you a little bit better this time. So before we go into our Q&A, I also I wanted to ask you guys, what are some of the things you would like for the music industry to incorporate in order to better represent disabled artists? Miss Jacqui?
That is an excellent question. I think I want them to do better. Like, why are you 1,000 years behind of all the other industries? Like, fashion has come so far. Theatre has come so far. TV, it's trying, it's coming along. Like, the music industry feels so old sometimes in the way that it's set up and the way that it sees artists and the way that it treats artists just in general. But in terms of like access and disabled artists, like, you have a whole lineup and you're telling me you can't put one disabled artist up there. Like, I'm already having an argument about how festival lineups in the UK especially are male dominated, but the females are smashing the charts. And now I have to still have that same conversation, like, your whole lineup is able-bodied people, and where are all the deaf, disabled, neurodivergent people? So, like, do better. Like, you are a big industry. Like, you change, like, you're a part of culture, and you're out here saying that disabled people are not welcome. Do better. Because when I get a bit hot and heated, I'm calling out all of you at the top, and it's a problem. You don't want this problem. Like, do better. Just do better.
Yeah, I agree. Preach, girl. Definitely. Jason?
Yeah, again, I couldn't agree with what she said anymore. I mean, personally, with me, I've never had a situation where like I felt my disability was what was holding me back. I mean, there are some things with the music industry and also the movie industry. Aesthetics seem to be very important to people for whatever reason, and you know, a lot of times disabled people or otherly able people are, you know, looked down upon, for lack of a better word. And so it's like, if you don't, you know, look like Taylor Swift, or you don't do this, then it's like, how can we sell that? So I think a lot of people's mindset needs to change with the way they look at disabled or otherly able people. And then like further, I guess, like with not just the music industry as far as like performance and shows go and booking, but like even musical instrument creators and guitar creators and drum creators and things like that can start thinking outside of the box and making instruments for otherly able people. So similarly to kind of what some of the projects I've done are, but you know, if this guitar would work better for someone who has a deformed hand or was born some type of way, then you know, you can start changing the design of the instrument to better help those types of people. So I think that would also help too, to try and make it a little bit more inclusive for, again, other disabled people. Oh, you're muted.
I have to ask, how did you learn how to play guitar? Do you use your bionic hand, or did you have to like learn how to use the other hand?
So we could, making those prosthetics is a very time consuming and also very expensive. And I always usually have to find, especially the robotic ones, I have to find outside funding, et cetera, because some of that stuff can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
But like my very first drumming prosthetic was essentially just a socket with a device on the end that essentially had a pivot point, and then it holds the drumstick, and then it utilizes a spring to be able to allow the drumstick to bounce. There's a device that's similar to that a friend of mine named Jason Williams developed, and basically what he uses is, it's essentially the same thing. It's a socket, and then it has a spring that holds the guitar pick in place. So he can actually like twist a screw to tighten the grip on the guitar pick to like get like really smooth strumming or like really fast like picking patterns with it. And he kills it. He's an awesome guitar player. But that's what I use. But I don't really play a whole lot of guitar much anymore. Pretty much just produce and beat on the drums.
Yeah. Wow, that's so cool though. Holy crap, I had no idea. Cool. Denzel?
All right, so pretty much for me, it's more so, it's less about being disabled and more so, like Jason said, the mindset, you know, how they approach artists in regards to how they want to utilize their talents, and, you know, just giving them that opportunity and that platform. I know everybody said like looks may be a thing or things like that, but it's like, if you focus on the story, because artists, everybody has a story. They utilize their story, whether that be Jay-Z or Kendrick Lamar. I'm pretty sure, you know, somebody, because we come from the same places they do. We could use our story the same way they do, and, you know, still have the same popularity, notoriety, and influence. They just have to take a look and, you know, give us that opportunity to do so.
Yeah. Definitely. Our stories are important too. Great. So thank you so much for your insights. Seriously, guys, thank you so much. We're going to go into our Q&A portion. So KitKat, you can take it away from here.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for this awesome panel. We appreciate you and all of your insight. If you have any questions, you can use the reactions button in the raise hand feature, or you can type your questions in the chat. So, yeah, Lex, go for it.
Hi, everybody. So we are so lucky to have you here. Honestly, we were looking for artists that inspired us, and Justine said that we are fans of our speakers every single week. When we say we're fans, we're literally fans. We stalk you all. And so we have been through your platforms. We've listened to your music and we really, really love it. So we wanted to bring all of you on because we figured that you'd be great inspirations for others as well. So first of all, I just wanted to thank you all for being here. I know I haven't gotten a chance to connect with all of you personally, so hopefully one day I will. But I wanted to ask, so obviously we centered a lot of this conversation around disability awareness again around disability awareness, but I wanted to know what kinds of projects you're all working on in the music industry, like what kinds of creative projects you're working on, whether that's production, singing, songwriting, poetry, like what is it that you've really been working on that you're excited about? And anyone can start. Nobody is working on any projects?
Yeah, so I'm just trying to get out. I came out with a project a couple months ago. I didn't really follow up with videos behind it, but I think more so it's creating different kind of content that could just allow me to express myself in a different light, as opposed to just making music videos and performances and songs. More so something like this, like conversational pieces that allow, you know, the audience and fans to become more connected with, you know, an artist like myself. So just more kind of like lyric breakdowns, just to give people a different look at somebody. Because in the music industry, people, they mainly just look at the artist as opposed to the person. So, you know, get people to understand me more as opposed to just MoneySign Hines. Look at Danzel.
Nice. Maybe Jason, I know I've seen some stuff on your page.
So I guess, yeah, most recently, I'm pretty much finished developing a newer drumming prosthetic. So the first one that I co-developed about 7.5 years ago or so, was funded through Georgia Tech and the National Science Foundation. And so any funding usually through like academics, I typically wouldn't own the product. It's owned by Georgia Tech and the National Science Foundation. And then also they had a lot of say-so on how the device worked. For instance, I only wanted the prosthetic to utilize EMG, which essentially, without going into too much detail, is just electrical sensors on both sides of the arm that picks up electrical signals. So with the drumming prosthetic, when I would essentially do this motion, which opens the hand, it would loosen the grip on the stick. And then when I do this motion, it would tighten the grip on the stick to allow me to just have full control over the drumstick like I would if I still had my right hand. They were very interested in AI and kind of deep learning. And so they had this idea of having a second stick with a mind of its own that could essentially come out when I wanted it to, but then improvise different patterns on its own. So technologically pretty cool. From a drummer or musician standpoint, not so much. I mean, just having two sticks on one hand, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And then, you know, you had the haters come out of the woodworks, you know, I'm a cheater, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just playing with a robot on my hand. And so, yeah, ultimately, since then, my main goal was to develop one that was strictly only controlled by my muscles. And 2 years ago, I got funding from Google, actually, and they funded my whole project from start to finish and documented some of it. And we finished the arm about 2 months ago. It's still got a few little things that I'm finishing up with, but it's honestly completely amazing. And I want to make the technology that we use in it open source and available to everybody else, because what we use, the machine learning algorithms that we use in it are that they have so much more use than just playing drums. So for instance, again, playing guitar, or because the arm has like a motion sensor in it as well. For instance, one thing I'm working on developing next is, so double amputees, like who've lost maybe both their hands in the military or some type of accident, can't use computer mouses properly. So clicking, right clicking, double clicking, scrolling, moving it around, etc. And so with pretty much all of the technology that's in the drum arm, with some minor tweaks, and then obviously not a motor that holds a drumstick, but with some minor tweaks, you could actually make a gyro mouse out of it. So you could essentially put the prosthetic on a double amputee, and they could then point at the screen of a computer, and that would be where the mouse head would be. And then if they could, you know, if they flex, that would be a click. If they extend, that would be a right click. If they made a fist, that would be a double click, etc. So they could much more easily use a computer mouse. So that's one of the things that I'm going to start working on next. That's kind of in that field. And then as far as music production goes, like I said, I produce a lot of different music for everyone, but my main project is the cinematic electronic bass music, for lack of a better genre, I guess. That's heavily inspired by artificial intelligence and future technologies, with kind of a dystopian cyberpunk vibe, I guess. So yeah, that's my two most recent projects.
That's really cool. This brings up so many questions in my mind, but I know I'm going to leave some for other people. But that brings up a great point, that it might be great for the music industry to invest more money into the technology for disabled folks. Because I know we were talking about that earlier, but that's so awesome. And congratulations on getting all the funding, because that's a really hard thing to do for anybody. So amazing, amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, it took a while. That was a project. I had a Kickstarter for like 2 years and it failed so miserably. And yeah, I kind of got lucky, and through the help of some mutual friends, I landed some funding for that. So that was a lot of weight lifted off my shoulder. And again, I love that it helps. It's the potential. It has the potential to help other people out, not just musicians. So if the music industry did actually spend money on the technology behind this types of stuff, they could also potentially help out not just the music industry, but everyone, and not just disabled people as well.
Yeah, that's so cool. Awesome. How about for you, Miss Jacqui? Any projects that you're working on?
Yeah, I'm currently in my writing season, which means I'm literally just in the studio. Well, we're still in lockdown, kind of in London. Our government is trash. I've said that publicly, trash. So it's a lot
This
of
has gone on a record, Miss Jacqui.
It's trash. So yeah, I'm currently in writing season. So I'm writing a lot of stuff, working with different producers. If there's anybody on here that wants to connect, let's do a track. I'm very open with all of that stuff. So I'm writing season. I've got a couple of shows in November, a couple of sharing stuff. So yeah, I'm just out here, little old me in England, minding my business, making work. Yeah.
Little old you with a big personality. We love it. Thank you so much, everybody. And KitKat, I'll throw it back over to you.
Awesome. Thanks for that awesome question, Lex. Appreciate it. Tapas, I see that you have a question. Do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, hi guys. I'm glad that I make it. So one advice that you would give to somebody who is starting out in music industry and business, what would it be?
That's a great question.
I missed the last part of the question.
I asked that somebody who is starting out, like who is figuring out different roles in the music industry, what would you guys advise to them?
You're figuring out different roles in the music industry, you're saying?
Yeah, like in music business, yeah.
So okay, so just kind of trying out different things. I don't know. I guess, I mean, only my advice would be, because I've kind of been all over the map as far as my music career goes, but just, even though you may not know exactly what you want to do or where you're going with it, it's important to start somewhere and do something, because then that leads you down paths further along that may ultimately lead you down your life path, so I guess my only advice would be like, keep going, as cliche as that sounds, but stay focused and keep your eye on the prize. But if you're, in an area that you don't necessarily like, then, try and make a switch to a different area. But it is important to at least be involved in some way or another, because the only thing not being involved guarantees is, failure. You're not going to get anywhere that way. But if at least you start doing something that may lead you down these other paths. So yeah, that might sound cliche, but don't give up. That's kind of my only advice there.
Yeah, I would say don't give up. Be yourself. Even when you don't really know where to go with the situation, as long as you do something that's true to you, that's the best way to go. Because if you're doing something that's not true to yourself, you might feel like you're forcing it, because it's not you. So it's not organic. Being that it's not organic, it may not go the way you want it to. So just be yourself. Like Jason said, stay focused and don't give up.
That makes sense. Thanks. I appreciate that. Thank you guys.
I just wanted to add, try everything, because you never know when you're going to be phenomenal at something. That is just advice to everybody in life. Like, try it, even if it scares you, try it, because you might be the next biggest thing because you tried something. So do that.
Thanks. That makes sense.
And just as someone who's, still very fresh in the music industry, come to more of these events. Like you never know who you're going to network with, the insight that you'll receive. Like there's so many cool groups out there. Finessed is definitely one of them, and you just never know what you'll see. Awesome. Does anyone have any other questions? Thank you, Tapas, for your awesome question. Appreciate it. If not, that's totally okay. We can hop into my personal favorite part, the listening session. Woo! So, for context, we have listening sessions with every event, so then artists can receive feedback from our panelists and from our CEO, Alexi, if you want to say hi, Alex. And just gain more exposure, connect with people. Like Miss Jacqui had said, she's going to be working on projects and wants to collaborate. So now you'll be able to see people that you can collaborate with. So I'm super excited to start this off with actually Miss Jacqui's Freedom. Actually, I just realized I didn't share my sound. There we go. Here is Miss Jacqui's Freedom. Is it playing for y'all?
There's always rebellion before freedom. There's always rebellion before freedom. Freedom, freedom, freedom. Freedom, freedom, freedom. We don't know what true freedom is. We take it for granted until it is taken away from us. We think that we are free, but in reality we are still treated as slaves, just with different masters' names. We went from the potential to rule to underachieving, under oppression, working hard under someone who doesn't even know your name. We need to believe in our own ability to make change. Freedom, rebellion, freedom, freedom, rebellion. Rebellion is doing what you want, even if it means you might shift people out of their comfort zone. Who knows, you might move yourself. I have had to rebel, mainly out of necessity, forced to look at life from a different perspective, because the world likes to remind me that it is not designed for my blackness, for my womanhood, for my disability, but partly because it is built into my DNA. My ancestors knew that rebelling came with consequences. I rebel frequently knowing that being free is worth the consequences. Like standing too close to the sun, at least for a moment. I felt its warmth.
I don't want to have to stop it. Oh my goodness. But that was such a powerful way to start off our listening session. Thank you so much for sharing, Miss Jacqui. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. And next, I'm going to pause my share for a quick second, and I'm going to jump over to Never Care by the one and only MoneySign Hines. Here we go.
I never care about what they say about me. I'm dreaming till my heart's without a beat. As long as my family proud of me, I could care less what you think of me. Knock me down, I'll get up clean. Knock me down, I'll get up clean. Oh, yeah. I don't care about what they say. No, I don't care about what they say.
I never care about what they say. I look myself in the face every day. Scars, check. Flaws, check. Okay, I'm all there. Reflecting on the days when peers would give me long stares. Was it my night gears? Probably not. Or cause I wouldn't open up like the bottom lock. Or was it cause I was too embarrassed to show my pops? Or was it cause my skin darker than 12 o'clock? Midnight, parents told me live life. Often I was paralyzed by thoughts, how would I get by? Daily talks to God, ask me what brings you by this time, at this time. If I'm falling victim to my pain, can I tell you, look who I became? If I'm falling victim to your lies, can I tell you that I'm not surprised? Oh no.
I never care about what they say about me. I'm dreaming to my heart without a beat. As long as my family proud of me, I could care less what you think of me. Knock me down, I'll get up clean. Knock me down, I'll get up clean. Oh, yeah.
I love that line. Knock me down, I'll get up clean. This is so fresh. Thank you so much for sharing, Danzel. This is phenomenal. Thank you, thank you. And last but not least, for our panelist, Jason, I wanted you to be able to share your screen. And you should be co-host by now, so you should be able to share your performance.
Cool, yeah. So this is like a performance that I put together for a halftime show originally, and then it kind of turned into a digital show halfway through the pandemic. And so yeah, this video kind of showcases like the prosthetic and then kind of what some of my performances look like. And some of it is classic Atlanta hip hop sampled, and then the drops or the heavier music is my music. So just for reference.
Amazing.
Let's see, share sound. Is it sharing?
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome.
You get the point.
Woo! Yes, that was phenomenal. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
That was cool.
Thank you.
But we would all love a link if that's available, So
Sure, yeah, I'll put a couple links in the chat actually for you guys.
perfect. Well, that's just our panelists, and that's just the start to our listening session. So we're going to continue forward. Thank you all for sharing. That was phenomenal. I wanted to check and see, is Rando Rage in the room? All good things, all good things. We will jump to Sia's around. So, Sia, I see you're in the room. We'll get feedback from our panelists and Alexi and myself. I'm an artist manager at Finessed Media for context, and yeah, excited to hear everyone. So, this is Sia's around.
KitKat, are you playing it? I don't hear anything.
I thought I was.
Oh, here we go. Oh, it stopped KitKat.
Let me try this one more time, y'all. Sorry about that. I'm gonna share the screen. Here we go again.
I don't really get it, feels like I don't exist. She too busy with the drama, can't focus on her own kid. He's been staying later, can't even talk to him. But let's be real, he wouldn't
KitKat, I think it stopped
wanna
again.
talk to me.
It's stopping again. Okay, let me stop sharing the screen. Lex, would it be possible if I can give you the link? Since
Yeah. I have
Yeah.
I actually have it on my computer too. So let me just open it up really quickly because I think it might just be your
Thank you
computer is
so
probably
much.
overheating. All right, so let me go ahead and just open everything up. No worries. Let's see. Give me just 1 second, everybody.
You can share sound without sharing screen. Just saying.
Oh yeah, KitKat, you can do that
Yeah,
if
let
that'll
me try
slow.
that.
Yeah,
Thank
if your
you.
computer is fast
Yeah.
enough for it.
Let's do that then. We'll try this one more time. Sorry about that, Sia.
Okay, thank you guys.
I don't really get it, feels like I don't exist. She too busy with the drama, can't focus on her own kid. He's been staying later, can't even talk to him. But let's be real, he wouldn't wanna talk to me. Busy with school, boom, might still wanders to this. Been sleeping more cause I don't wanna feel all the stress. Tired of my so-called friends, they don't seem to care a bit. But when it comes to them, I care 100%. Don't tell me you care, cause when I'm down, you're never around. Tired of the pity, it's not fair. Just wanted you here, but you were nowhere to be found. Usually I'm not the one asking for help, but even if I did, you wouldn't be there. Don't tell me you care, cause when I'm down, you were never around. Noises from the fight and I hear every single bit. Can't blame them, maybe one day I'll finally know why it is. But they don't seem to get it, affecting me so heavy. But let's forget for the night, act like it's alright. I don't wanna be like that. Sick of my love, who is gonna be there till the end. And I don't wanna feel like this. Heart in phones, cause everyone used it but me. Don't tell me you care, cause when I'm down, you're never around. Tired of the pity, it's not fair. Just wanted you here, but you were nowhere to be found. Usually I'm not the one
I did, you wouldn't be there. Don't tell me you care, 'cause when I'm down, you were never around.
All right, that was Sia's Around. Do we have any
Ooh.
feedback from our panelists?
There is like so much clarity. I'm a sucker for clarity in a vocal. And the fact that like back, like that is A1, because sometimes like music now especially, there's so much happening. So you're just like sensory overload with like different instruments. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, create music however you want to, but like being able to hear something that's stripped back, but it's clear. And I'm a lyric person, and I like, you painted a story. Nice.
Thank you so much. That means a lot for real.
Jason, Danzel?
Yeah, I really liked, you could definitely feel like your emotion. I guess you wore your heart on your sleeve in that recording there, so you could definitely feel the emotion in that track quite a bit. And yeah, the clarity in the vocals were really nice too.
Yeah, I have to agree. The vocals, clarity, beautiful message as well, and you know the voice just flows with the song, and pretty cool. Dope. Keep doing what you do.
Lex,
Yeah, Sia, that was so beautiful. I love the raw, like this, yeah, like Miss Jacqui was saying, like the stripped back version of it, because you could hear your voice so well. One thing I think for you as you're growing too is because you have such a beautiful voice, you can work in a lot of different spaces. Like someone who's on this call who is really talented, Elsie, you know, we love you. I'm going to shout her out because she is kind of in the same space as you. Like she has very beautiful vocals when it comes to, and I'm saying this because you have very beautiful vocals. It's very similar in that when she has like these raw vocals, she has a totally different sound from like when it's engineered. So you are going to be one of those artists who, like, as you progress in your career, you can work in many different spaces, and you can work with a ton of different engineers and producers to create great music. So I would just say, like, keep doing what you're doing, because whatever you just did with this song, it sounds amazing. Like you're someone who, if you had an EDM track in the future, you could be on that track and you'd be played in so many different places because you have such a beautiful voice.
Thank you so much.
I'll produce a track for you if you want to do some EDM stuff. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, like honestly, I mean, just to echo what everyone said, like first listening, it reminded me of Taylor Swift, you know, just like that stripped down, that emotional content.
Had
Sorry,
that
my
before.
dog just went bizarre. Just kidding. So sorry about that, y'all. But it's so lovely because it's like by the end, when you did pick up and you added a few more elements and your vocals were really beginning to build, I was like, oof, yes, feeling it. So
Yeah.
definitely
I mean,
keep on.
This is that was my first song, the one you played. So I have 2 songs out right now, and like both songs are kind of similar. They're both like kind of sad, whatever, like, you know, stripped down. But my next song is gonna be kind of fun, and I'm excited for that one too. So, you know, that one's gonna be a bit happier.
Awesome. Love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank
Clearly,
you,
we're
guys.
all fans of it. So awesome. Up next, I wanted to see, is Jonathan McField here, or if anyone from his team is here? All right, all good. Well, then we're actually, speaking of Elsie, we're going to jump to her, Seeing You Again.
Just about the time that we were dating, our love grew, ballooned into a new beginning. Just about the time our hearts were breaking, splitting into two, cracked red becoming blue. As much much as the world ain't fair, we'll laugh about times we shared. And all the plans that we had made, I hope one day you'll be here with me to run right through the maze. I wish goodbye was just a temporary phase. Your smiling face is there to greet me daily, you never fade away. Still I know in my heart I'll be seeing you again. Just about the time of liberating all our hopes and dreams put back together at the seams. We fully love the space we were creating. This isn't just a fluke, can we believe it to be true? As much as the world ain't fair, it taught me to dream, to dare. When you're far in a land so bare, just know that I'm always there. And all the plans that we had made, I hope one day you'll be here with me to run right through the maze. I wish goodbye was just a temporary phase. Your smiling face is there to greet me daily, and you never fade away. Still I know in my heart I'll be seeing you again.
I hate having to pause our songs. Absolutely hate it. Awesome. Jason, Miss Jacqui, Danzel, do you have any feedback for Elsie?
I feel like that's music that belongs on soundtracks and stuff like that. It's just so calm and peaceful. You feel like you just got your headphones in and you zoning out. So it's really cool. I dig that for sure. The layer vocal.
Awesome. What about Miss Jacqui or Jason?
Yeah, that was great. I think the mix down on that was really clean as well. And again, you could definitely feel like every bit of emotion. It didn't really feel bland at all. And it took you on a nice journey. And yeah, like you said, I feel like it's definitely something that belongs on a soundtrack. Great job. Yeah.
Thank you.
I echo, like, soundtrack, go collect your coin in the movie world, go do it. It was so beautiful, and the way you, like, what you did with your vocals, people forget that a voice is an instrument and you can do 1,000 things with it, the same way you can play different chords on. So the way that you, like, layered everything, and you put like the harmonies that you chose as well, like when I thought, oh, it's going to go up, it didn't. I was like, oh yeah, I like when I'm surprised, because when you can predict, like, you do that pre-listening and you think you know what's going to happen, the fact that you did the opposite, ace.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you as always, Elsie. Love your music. Up next, we have James Ian. I was able to spot him. Night's Time.
Is there a spot we can find all these links?
Yeah, I'll definitely put the Spotify link in the chat in one moment.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
I'm trying to make it through the day, counting the hours till I'm back to you. Don't know why you do it,
we ain't alone. You know you're my favorite, yeah. You know I've been waiting, yeah. Can't wait to stay, yeah. Tonight, you got me living for the night time, baby. Your body on mine until the sun comes up. Make it last forever, baby. 'Cause it's never enough, it's just never enough. You got me living for the night time, baby. Your body on mine until the sun comes up. Make it last forever, baby. 'Cause it's never enough, it's just never enough. I'm feeling like the clock is ticking, but there ain't no way I'm gonna rush. Wanna enjoy every second, from every kiss to every touch. I don't want no distractions, just wanna focus on right now. Girl, I wanna get these clothes off before the sun goes down. You know you're my favorite, yeah. You know I've been waiting, yeah. Can't wait to stay, yeah. Tonight, you got me living for the night time, baby. Your body on mine until the sun comes up. Make it last forever, baby. 'Cause it's never enough, it's just never enough. You got me living for the night time, baby. Your body on mine until the sun comes up. Make it last forever, baby. 'Cause it's never enough, it's just never enough.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Lex, Miss Jacqui, Jason, Danzel, do you have any feedback for James on his track?
I really dig. I think it was like a synth like ARP in the background, I guess. It was kind of nice 80s kind of retro like R&B pop. I don't know. Yeah, it had really good vibes behind it, but yeah, it's interesting and pretty unique as well. I liked it.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, James.
Oh, I'm just saying thanks.
Oh, yeah, James, I liked it. I liked the retro vibes. I also heard the synth in the background, and a good place for your music where you might find some luck is probably the synthwave group on Facebook. It's huge. When I tell you it's huge, it's massive. Like they have 20,000 people and they're all so engaged in that community. Whenever I find people that are in that space, it's like I tell them to go there all the time because it's full of music industry folks. It's full of synth lovers, like just really diehard fans. It's also full of a lot of synth musicians and creators. So just like type in synthwave, I guarantee you it'll pop up. I do have a few pieces of feedback. I think your voice is just a little bit too high on the track for the mix, just a little bit, because there were some points where I was like, oh, it sounds like it's balanced, and then it sounded like a little bit too high on some parts. So I would just suggest like maybe trying to balance it out. Are you the one who's doing the engineering yourself?
No, I did it at a studio. They mastered it and mixed it and everything.
Gotcha. But it sounds cool. Like, I think that this definitely would do well in the synthwave space, especially. And then another point that I had was I listened the whole way through, and there was just a little bit of repetition all the way to the end. So maybe include a hook in there just to keep listeners engaged. But other than that, I love the track and I could definitely listen to it again.
Cool. Thank you.
Danzel, did you have something that you wanted to say? Miss Jacqui?
Yeah, I really like that it gave me 80s but pop, but like I wanted to shake a leg, but like I could hear all the influences. And this is the next bit of advice, kind of goes with what Alexi said. And this is to everybody: the person who mixes your tracks shouldn't be the same person who masters your tracks, because what happens is they're hearing it in a different space. So always try and keep those worlds separate, like as much as you can, because they're going to hear different things, and you pay them because they are skilled in that thing. So that's just advice to everybody. Whoever you wrote the song about, go play it for them. and then let us know what their feedback was, because you felt like it sounded like you were really in your feelings. So yeah, Ace.
Thank you.
Awesome. Danzel?
Yeah, so like the beat was dope. It was a bunch of different things, you know, and then the vibe of the song was R&B's, a little bit of pop. It was a little bit of everything. So I like, you know, the mesh and the combination. So that's just dope. Just keep working and yeah, continue to harness your craft and your sound.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, James. And last but not least, we have a live performance of Rodeo Gal. Is it Rodeo Gal, Kingston?
Hello, it's rodeo, like you know, a rodeo with bulls and horses and clowns and a rodeo master.
Rodeo Gal. Can you tell I'm from Los Angeles when I asked rodeo?
It's all right. Well, Rodeo Drive. So, and I went to El Rodeo Elementary School. So you're not off. That's just a different way to pronounce it. I guess Rodeo Drive would command lower rents than Rodeo Drive. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. This is a new one, and it's about someone who has been or had been very dear to me. And anyway, I'll let the song speak for itself. And by the way, I have a show at the Mint on August 11th. So all of you LA people, please come on down and support. I go on at 10. And I just had basically my first set of real shows this past week on Sunday, and also on Tuesday night at Bar Lubitsch. And I got paid for that Bar Lubitsch gig, so now I'm a professional. Didn't get paid much, but anyway, let me get on with it. She's a rodeo gal, goes ride or die, faded blue jean, big brown beauty eyes. They'll only get you down, they'll bring you down. She gonna rodeo on to the next town. She gonna rodeo on out. Keep it up, keep it up. She gonna rodeo, clown you down and out. Keep it up, keep it up. She gonna put you down. She gonna put you down. Those ride or die faded blue jeans. She's sexy as all. Get the hell out. She's an animal, so damn mechanical. She'll buck you off in no time. Twice as fast in bad times, but she's just a good time. She's just a good time, girl. Keep it up, keep it up. She gonna put you down. She gonna put you down. Rodeo, rodeo, on to the next one, 'cause that's the kind of guy. Rodeo, rodeo, on to the next one. She'll clown you all assed out. Keep it up, keep it up. She gonna put you down. She gonna put you down. Always picking up a bullfly in a China doll glass house. She's an animal, so damn mechanical. She'll buck you off in no time. She's an animal, so damn mechanical. Rodeo, rodeo on out. ride, dye faded blue jeans. She's sexy as all, get the hell out. Thank you.
Yes, Kingston.
Encore. Maybe next time.
Well, do any of
So
our
come on down to the Mint on August 11th, 10 o'clock. I go on. Get there early. There's acts, prior acts, and that way you get a good seat. I'm excited.
Yes, everyone come down to LA and watch GK play some Mint, okay? So do any of
Y'all
our...
can find me. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Y'all
yeah.
can find me on Instagram at Kingston Music. And instead of the C in the normal spelling of music, take that C out and put GK. So music, Kingston Music. That's my last name and it's my stage name too. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Of course. Do any of our lovely panelists have any feedback for Kingston?
Kingston, can I just say how happy I am to hear a new song from you? And I loved this. There was a part when KitKat and I were listening to it beforehand as we were doing all of our screening, and I think it was the part where it was like but, and I was like, whoa, I didn't expect that one. That was nice. So I can't wait for you to actually start recording it so that we can get you in the studio and have you start creating the music so you can get it out to more people too.
Yes, that is something I'm looking forward to do. I've got a whole bunch of new songs that during COVID, and I'm glad that they're in a format to present, and I look forward to sharing more and recorded versions or properly recorded versions.
Can I also just add that GK's presence at our events on a week-to-week basis, his persona, his facial persona has changed a lot. He's been coming to our events on a week-to-week basis for what is it now? At least I don't know, 8 months or so, I'm guessing.
Since October, I think.
Yeah.
But, I'm so glad that I found you, or you found, I don't know, we hooked up on Instagram. I think it was I don't know, but I'm so grateful, and I really enjoy these events and the other events that Finessed puts on.
Yeah, GK used to have this huge beard and just looked like a totally different person when he would come on. But yeah, I loved it. I actually was like, I wish we were out in the studio. I wish you would actually perform it standing up. Are you performing standing up, GK, typically when you're at your events?
No, I don't.
Standing up. I want to see you moving around.
No, I should do that. I've been working on the presentation, and I will eventually be standing. But for some reason, I'll take that to heart, and I'll try to incorporate standing at the show at the Mint. So come on down and keep me honest, y'all.
GK, remember? And then I'll let the other panelists speak too. But when we had our music and entrepreneurship summit in December, he said, focus your attention on the audience, at least when or not on the audience, but towards your phone so that we could hear you. For live performances, I would say, obviously, you want to have the mic with you, but you can move around. Like, I'm going to give you an example.
Okay.
And yes, Justine, we need to go to LA, and you all are going to see how I'm going to reenact GK's performance so that you get at least like some good feedback. But if you're playing the guitar, especially on that part where you were saying but, and like there are parts where you really enunciate, like mechanical and mechanical or something. On those parts, you could like stomp your feet, jump around a little bit, move around. I'm not a great dancer, so but when you have it, like but mechanical. So just some feedback.
Cool.
So you're not just sitting and you're like
so I'm not so uptight.
Yeah,
a little looser.
You're not old yet.
Okay.
And that is all that you guys are going to see in regards to my performance. So as a panelist, I will go ahead and give you the chance to speak now.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really liked it. I can't wait to hear it professionally and properly recorded. But yeah, I like your whole style, and yeah, I don't feel bad. I'm the same way. I like constantly when I perform, I like have to think that like I'm performing and not to like feel like so awkward. So like I like literally have to think about it consciously all the time to like move around. So I'm exactly the same way. But yeah, I like it a lot, and yeah, I'd love to hear a proper finished recording of it.
Thank you.
I grew up on gospel and country, so I felt right at home. I like the folk feel. I like that it was a story. Yeah, there's this thing in performance. So like I'm in a wheelchair. Yeah, disabled person. So I sit right for my whole. But it's about like directing your energy. Does that make sense? So like when we're doing things online, you have to like look at the camera or like center of screen. It's really like it throws you off. But like on stage, it's about directing that energy. And this is for like any performer. Even if you have to move yourself in a spot, it's about moving that energy. So if you're gonna look over there, I'm pointing like you can see what's over there, but if you're looking one direction, make sure you don't forget to look over there as well and center. And keep your head on a swivel. But don't like the whole time just be like, but like just be conscious. Oh, I've sung over to this part of the crowd. Okay, let me go over here and sing to this part of the crowd, and just be aware that you want to give your energy so much that people stop what they're doing and go silent. That's so just like bear that in mind.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I love all the feedback because I incorporate it. I'm a sponge. I soak it all up. And because of these Zoom events, I am more prepared for these live shows. And the uptightness I am getting over with each performance on Zoom and also in person. Thank you so much for your input.
Good
I love your
stuff.
smile too.
Good stuff, Kingston. And I just saw Lonray, is that how you pronounce your name?
Yes, Lonray. Hi, everyone. I had some
Hello.
technical issues with Eventbrite today, so joining kind of late, but thank you, Alexi, for sending the link. Glad to be here.
Of course. And so just to wrap things up, we're going to end with Lonray's LA.
All right.
Mileage on the track. Kelly dreaming, tell me what's the reason. You got me screaming your calls again. I thought you were a bit shy, ain't going so high. Wishing you could live free with me again. So raise on to the good life, wasn't worth the goodbye. Now you're on the next flight to come back to me. Cause LA ain't the world, no it ain't. LA ain't the world, no it ain't. LA ain't the world. LA ain't the world. LA ain't the world.
Whew, that was fire.
Ooh.
Thank you guys so much. So a little
That's a demo.
Yeah, so I recorded that back in April. And since then, I've collaborated with a writer that I've met through one of the producers of the song. And the whole song is finished, and I'm going back into the studio in a couple weeks to do the complete package. We rewrote a lot of things. I've gotten feedback. I would love your guys' feedback on kind of the direction. That was kind of like the taster of it, but it's gonna have a second verse and a bridge, and would love to know y'all's feedback. And thank you so much. I see everybody in the comments. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Do any of our panelists, Lex?
Yeah, I liked to switch up the intro to the actual track was caught me off guard. And then I guess it kind of had like some like reggaeton like vibes at some point in there, right?
That's interesting.
Is it the drum? Is it the drum beat? Like I guess like halfway through it had kind of like.
I think so. Like, so it's a collaboration between two producers. One's like a hip hop producer and one's a pop producer. So maybe he snuck that in. I'm not too good with like the technical.
It's really just a drum beat. You had like that, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it was just kind of like a reggaeton style like drum beat in there. But yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the mix was
thank you.
Mix was nice too.
Cool.
I like how you utilized your voice and then the production, like the voice and the beat, and then your voice. It went together really well. So maybe you could continue to play on that for
lean into that. Yeah,
that'll be dope.
Yeah, for sure.
I like.
Thank you.
Oh. Yeah, it was a vibe. It was a vibe. Yeah, after the little breakdown bit, da 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 da. That was like that got me. Like I was sold. Sold it there. Like you said, you're gonna re-record it. Have the same the song gives you. So like there were some bits where I felt like the energy was a little bit like lower, and that's not a bad thing. Like you record it. So like imagine if you were about to perform this on stage, right? That's how you should record it. I'm not saying scream down the mic, but like that same like swag, be in the pocket, enjoy it. Because if we hear you enjoying it, we're gonna enjoy it with, and we're gonna smile. Oh, okay. Oh, it's a party. Oh, we're all a part of this party. So match that energy with it. But it's a vibe. It's a vibe. When it's done, send it to me.
Thank you. Oh, for sure. For sure. Can we get contacts after this, like from everybody? Okay, great. Yeah, I would love to hear your guys' stuff and share the final version as well. So.
Lanre, are you keeping it to that length out of curiosity?
No, so it's gonna have a verse and a second verse and a bridge, and then two. I think we're debating whether doing two hooks at the end, so it'll be longer.
Gotcha. I actually liked the shortness of it.
Okay.
Because one thing that I find a lot of artists doing sometimes when they have so much to say is they put all of it into one song, right? Like they will make a song 6 minutes, but then there's nothing else for us to be excited for. It's like, you've given me everything, I don't need any more. But when I listened to that song, I was like, holy shit, I want more. Like, will you please let me listen to more? So it might be interesting to play around with the length of it, because after listening to that, I mean, look at all of us. We were all like, it's a vibe. Like we all want to hear more music from you. Let's collab, things like that. So I would say just play around with the length, because if we already want more now, imagine if you created like an EP or an album, and then it was like someone listened to this song, and then the next part or next song was like a continuation of that vibe,
Oh yeah. So kind of like creating like the demand for more kind of with the
song. Yeah.
That's interesting. I've never thought about doing that before. That's really cool though. I like that.
I really, really like this. And I agree with Miss Jacqui about the energy. Like, just make sure when you're in the studio, you know how sometimes when you're in the studio, you get a little bit tired after recording over and over and over again. Like, make sure that when you record the final version, you're like ready to go with that energy, because I like when I listen to music that makes me want to dance, like I want to feel like I'm flying, like LA ain't the world. So
that's the idea,
because I can see this on I don't know if y'all remember, but there was a time on Instagram where travel blogging was like the thing. It was like every single person was into travel blogging, and they would play this kind of music over like videos of blue, beautiful oceans. Like
right.
That's where I can see your music played. So like just
awesome.
Make sure you're bringing a lot of energy when it comes to re-recording.
Yeah, and thank you for like the imagery too, because I feel like that's something I'm trying to get better at. So when I'm actually singing, it's more of like make it a performance so that sonically it feels like how you and Jacqui were saying, like it feels like you're right there with me as I'm telling the story. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Nice. Great job.
Yeah, thanks.
Really great stuff. Let's give a round of applause to our amazing panelists, the fun listening session. It's been incredible. Thank you all so much for being here for our disability advocacy event. We appreciate you. One more time, if you want to contact anyone, network, the contact sheet is in the chat again. And let's see, next week, our event will actually be an interview with Christina Chavez, my apologies. But it will actually be occurring from 3 to 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, rather than our typical noon session. So be on the lookout. It's a little bit later in the day, but it's going to be an awesome interview. And if you like this event, if you're interested in the next event and want to maintain all contact with Finessed Media, make sure to join our VIPs, and that link should be sent in the chat as well. If not, I'll send it to you all in a second. And that wraps up today's event. Thank you one more time to Miss Jacqui, Jason, and Danzel. And a big shout out to Justine for co-hosting as well. Lex, did you have any last words that you wanted to say?
I want to say thank you to everybody. The listening session was awesome. Miss Jacqui, Danzel, and Jason. It was so cool to have you on, and you all are working on some amazing projects. So thank you everybody for joining us. Miss Jacqui, Danzel, or Jason, how can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about the projects that you're working on?
So I put a few links in the chat earlier. I guess I can probably put them again if you'd like. And then I also put some of the links in
the contact sheet.
The contact sheet as well.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Cool. Denzel, how can folks get a hold of you?
Everybody can follow me on Instagram at MoneySign_Hines. Twitter as well, same thing. And then Facebook at Danzel Hines, DanzelHines. So that's where you could find everything.
Awesome. And Miss Jacqui?
All my info in the contact sheet, slide in my DMs appropriately. I'm going to block you. But yeah, appropriately slide into my DMs anytime. I am Miss Jacqui on literally everything, but I put all of that info in the contact sheet. So yeah.
That's awesome. All right, cool. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday. We will see you next week from 3 to 4:30 p.m. Eastern time for another event. We love you. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you, KitKat and Justine, for hosting. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Yes.
Kisses to everybody.